Welcome, welcome. Thank you, everyone. Looks like we have a lot of people zooming in from all over the country. Thank you for dropping that information in there. Had a little bit of an issue with the music, so I'm just going to sit here and talk for you guys for a minute. We're just giving everyone just a couple more minutes to join, and then we will be getting started. So thank you again for joining. One more minute. We're still seeing people come in. Thank you for joining us. Excited to go through this promoted listings webinar with you. Still trickling in. All right, we're going to get started. Hi, everyone, and welcome. Excited to see so many of you joining us from all over the country. And thank you so much first for taking the time during your busy season. My name is Walker, and I am on the brand success team here at Faire. I'm really excited to be joined by my colleague Meredith and two incredible brands today to speak with you about promoted listings and specifically how to analyze your results and optimize for success. Few quick housekeeping notes first. We will send out this recording in the next few days, so don't worry about taking screenshots or scrambling to write notes. Second, if you have any questions during the webinar, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and our team will answer as many questions as possible. And then lastly, when you leave the webinar, you will be prompted with to complete a quick survey. As we continue to develop and grow our webinar program, your feedback is greatly appreciated and valued. It should take less than a minute to complete, so thanks ahead of time for taking a moment to do so. All right, let's get into it. So now that it's been a few months since we rolled out promoted listings in the United States, and you've all had the chance to try it, we wanted to host a webinar to give you some additional insight into how to read and think about your performance data and ways that you can continue to optimize the success of your ads on Faire. So a quick overview of what we'll dig into today. First, I'll walk you through promoted listings, the promoted listings analytics dashboard, and touch on some key metrics to focus on. Next, Meredith will share some helpful tips that you can follow to get the best return out of your promoted listings. Then, with the remainder of the time, I'm really excited to have a conversation with Faire brands Sophistiplate and Minori about their experience with advertising on and off of Faire. I think you'll be able to learn a lot from their experiences. All right. So let's dive into your analytics. You can find everything that I'm about to show you in the promoted listings tab of your brand portal under marketing. Just to note that all of the data I'm showing you is a mock-up, aka fake. So I would definitely recommend taking a look at your specific results after this webinar so you can apply what you've learned. All right. So the first information that you'll see in your promoted listings tab is the customers you've acquired through ads. At the top is the total number of customers you've acquired, as well as the lift in new customers versus what you've acquired organically during that time. Below that, we highlight a few of the most valuable customers you've acquired via promoted listings. Underneath this, we provide a bunch of data on the customers themselves so you can better understand the value of these customers individually. You can see details like store type and location, as well as when they clicked on your ad, when they placed their first order with you, and the value of that first order. More importantly, you can see data on reorders from that retailer as well. This is important to take note of because the more a retailer orders from you, the higher the return on your investment in promoted listings will be. Unlike direct-to-consumer advertising, wholesale advertising aims to bring you long-term customers, so you'll want to focus on that when looking at your performance and thinking about your return. With promoted listings, our goal is to get you in front of retailers who are a great fit for your brand so that they'll order from you again and again. This customer level data is also super helpful as you think about nurturing the relationships you establish through ads, which Meredith will talk about in a bit as well. All right, so below the customer data, you'll find your performance overview. Up top is your lifetime performance, which reflects the customers acquired and total sales from those customers during your lifetime running ads on Faire. We also provide some forward-looking metrics, including projected first-year sales and first-year ROAS, or return on ad spend, which aim to show you that long-term value you're getting out of promoted listings that I mentioned before. One note on this projected first-year sales number. This number is custom to your performance on Faire. To calculate it, we look at the average first-year sales of your customers on Faire multiplied by their total number of customers acquired from promoted listings during that time period. If you're new to Faire, we look at similar brands within your category. This number is, of course, an estimate, and your results may vary, but again, it is important to note that this is based on your actual data. Your first-year ROAS is then calculated by taking your first-year projected sales and dividing it by your total ad spend. As mentioned, promoted listings is about acquiring new long-term customers, so we wanted to provide you with a projection of what you can expect to get over time by running ads. Now let's get into some of the nitty-gritty metrics. We share your ad spend, impressions, clicks, customers acquired, first-order sales, projected first-year sales, and cost per acquisition, or CPA. These are displayed for the current month as well as each month in the past that you've run ads. Some of these metrics are updated daily, including impressions, clicks, customers acquired, and sales, while others are updated weekly to ensure accuracy and allow time for attribution. It's important to note that your metrics each month running ads are likely to vary due to a number of factors, including seasonality and competition. I want to chat through a few of these other metrics as well that may be a little less intuitive but are important to understand. So first, the sales numbers. So remember, first order sales is just the total dollars and orders within a given campaign month. Lifetime sales, on the other hand, will include those first orders as well as any reorders from the customers acquired within that month. Remember, based on your brand's reorder frequency, this metric will look the same as first order sales initially, and then as time passes should increase if you're getting reorders from those customers. This again is another important metric to look at when you're thinking about long-term value of your investment in promoted listings. Next is cost per acquisition, or CPA. This is the number of customers you acquired divided by the spend for the month. This indicates your cost to acquire each new customer. My recommendation here is to compare this to what you spend acquiring retailers off of Faire. Think other paid marketing channels or trade show, booth, or showroom investments. Remember, this spend is different than a direct-to-consumer investment as these customers come back and reorder again and again. Lastly, let's talk about spending limit and ad spend. Spending limit is the maximum amount of dollars you are allocating to be spent towards promoted listings in a given month. You can make changes to it at any time, but remember the amount will be prorated. Ad spend is the total of that spending limit that is actually spent on ads in a given campaign month. This will update weekly and will finalize on the 4th of the following month when billing happens. Keep in mind, we always aim to spend up to your limit each month, but we might not always spend the entire amount. The way it works is that we spread your spending limit out throughout the month, and then our system uses that amount of spend, the amount of spend you have for that day to bid on different advertising slots. You'll be pulled into those slots based on how relevant your product is to the search and for the retailer that is searching. We do it this way because it's very important to us that we maintain a positive advertising experience for both you and the retailers we're targeting with your promoted products. We want to ensure we're showing your products to retailers who are likely to convert so that you get a strong return on your investment, and we don't want to negatively impact the retailer experience by showing too many or irrelevant promoted products. Additionally, you may see fluctuations in how much of your spending limit is utilized due to seasonality, changes in retailer demands, or other factors. As a reminder, any impressions that you get through promoted listings are completely free. We only charge you if a retailer clicks on that promoted product listing. Because you're being placed in high traffic slots, you'll likely get a lot of impressions. But keep in mind, if the retailer doesn't click in that moment, those impressions are still valuable from a brand recognition standpoint, as they could result in future sales. And finally, spending limit recommendations. Some brands may see a spending limit increase recommendation in your portal when you click into the update spending limit box or at the top of your promoted listings page. You'll probably see this if you're using a significant portion or all of your spending limit. Ultimately, what this means is that the algorithm sees more opportunity to pull you into additional search results than your current spending limit may allow. This recommended range is custom to your performance and is the optimal amount the algorithm sees is needed to make sure we are promoting your products additionally in all available relative ad slots. But remember, no matter what, you will only pay for the clicks that you receive. Now I'll pass it over to Meredith for some tips and recommendations.
Thanks, Walker. Hi, everyone. I'm Meredith, and I also work on the brand success team. There's so much amazing data in your Faire account, and we keep adding more. With that in mind, you're probably wondering, what can I do with this data? How can I improve my results or ensure that I continue to see success with promoted listings? I'm going to walk you through 3 focus areas that will improve your promoted listings results and help boost organic sales. Those are optimize your listings, have a complete catalog, and nurture ad customers. First, optimizing your product listing quality ensures more of your products are pulled into relevant search results. Promoted listings works by identifying which of your products already appear in search results and then pulls the products that are most relevant to the browsing retailer up into earlier slots where they are more likely to be seen and clicked on. The better the quality of your product listing being seen by these new retailers, the more likely the retailers will convert to ordering your product. All improvements you make to your listings will not only help within promoted listings, but also accelerate organic sales on Faire. To optimize your product listing, I recommend focusing on naming, descriptions, and photography. You'll want to make sure that your product names and descriptions are robust and descriptive, pun entirely intended. The more keywords you can use to detail exactly what the product is, the more likely the item will be pulled into search results. Our search algorithm prioritizes exact phrase matching when identifying relevant products. So you'll want to name your products the way a retailer would search for an item. For example, you might change a product named the Meredith Tote to Genuine Leather Travel Tote, or the Meredith Genuine Leather Travel Purse, to ensure you are using the words retailers are likely to be searching for. Next, be sure to use high quality, high resolution images. The more images, the better. Retailers need to clearly see what they are buying in as many angles as possible. Aim for a minimum of 2 to 3 up-close product photos and a few lifestyle images. Videos are also powerful for increasing conversion. And my favorite tip for improving your listings is to use the product level performance analytics in your Faire account. Product performance shows you which of your products are most successful within a certain time period. You can sort by page views, number of orders, and units sold. Take a look at the most viewed and most ordered products and observe common threads between those products, such as names, descriptions, product tags, photography, etc. Then you'll want to take a look at your lower performing products and see how you can improve these listings using takeaways from your top performers. If a product has high views but low orders, this is a signal there's opportunity to improve that product's conversion. Take a look at that product and make sure it is clearly and accurately listed. You'll also want to preview it so you can see from a retailer's perspective and then ask questions like, why would so many people be looking at this and not checking out? Are there seasonal or trending keywords in the description that aren't applicable to the product? What can I do to make this listing better? Next, you want to make sure now that we've covered product listing quality, my second suggestion is to make sure you have a complete catalog and accurate pricing. This ensures you remain competitive and boosts your likelihood of appearing in search results. You probably do this off of Faire already, but be sure your pricing is competitive relative to your peers. Significant price differences on similar products within your category can be a deterrent to retailers. If your product is more expensive, be sure you find a way to convey your product's higher quality in your listing, be it through the images or the description. Make sure your retailers really understand what they are paying for. And remember, all of the effort you invest into your products and your catalog and your Faire shop doesn't just contribute to the success of your ads, it ultimately makes your entire Faire business more productive. So it's well worth putting in the effort. Last but not least, be sure you're making the most of the relationships you've gained from ads. Nurturing customers is another tactic I recommend for your organic business on Faire and is super impactful for increasing reorder sales from your new promoted listings customers. As Walker mentioned, promoted listings is all about long-term value, so we want to be sure these customers are reordering. You can monitor your promoted listings retailers in the Customers tab by creating a new segment using the source filter nested within the store details filters. Choose promoted listings from the source drop-down options, then save your segment. Any future promoted listings buyers you acquire will auto-populate into this segment. And each month, I suggest checking which promoted listings buyers just received their order, who has not left a review, or who has goods in their cart. You can use these signals to send one-off personalized messages or send a reorder email campaign to buyers who haven't reordered in the last 2 to 3 months. You might also try quarterly reorder campaigns to your entire ordered customer list. Create a shop-wide or collection-specific promotion for returning customers to further incentivize these retailers to reorder. This will help you make the most of your overall customer list on Faire, inclusive of promoted listings customers. All right, that's it for tips from me. I hope these were all helpful. Now we'll pass it back over to Walker for a conversation with some of our brands.
All right. Thank you, Meredith. That was super insightful. Let's get our brands on and spotlighted. I'll give the team just a minute. Okay. So big welcome to Anastasia and Tigran from Minori and Daniel from Sophistiplate. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and tell us a little bit about your experience with Faire and promoted listings. Um, just to kick it off, I think how about you each introduce yourself? Can you tell us a little bit about what you sell, where you're based, how long you've been in business, and about how long you've been on Faire? I know that's a lot of questions, so I can come back to them if I need to. Uh, Anastasia, do y'all want to start?
Of course. Hi, guys. My name is Anastasia, and this is my co-founder, Tigran. We are based out of San Francisco, California, and we run a company called Minori, which is a makeup brand that specifically focuses on being makeup for people who don't wear makeup. We've been in business for 3 years, and we've been on Faire for 2.5 years. So we joined Faire about 6 months after launching the company.
So exciting. Thank you. Daniel?
Thanks for having me, Walker. Dan Seehoff here, co-founder of Sophistiplate. I'm based in Los Angeles. We've been in business for about 9 years now, and we've been on Faire since 2020. Sophistiplate is a brand of Instagrammable party wear for the modern host. So we sell things like fancy paper plates, cutlery, charcuterie boards, etc.
Love it. Thank you both. I did look at both of your pages and I'm familiar with your products and encourage everyone to check it out. So again, thank you for taking the time to join us. Thinking about promoted listings a little bit, since this is what the call is primarily about. I'm curious, like in your prior businesses before Faire, how did you typically acquire customers? Were you doing trade shows, different marketing tactics, sales reps? Would you mind sharing just a little bit about that aspect of your business?
Of course. So before promoted listings and still alongside with them today, Minori definitely does trade shows. We do some awesome trade shows all across the US. And then we are very consistent at doing our own wholesale outreach by DMing stores that we're interested in contacting. And we always, always, always send them our Faire direct link. So whether we're doing trade shows or doing direct outreach, Faire is always at the forefront as the tool and the recommended place that we would like to do business with our stockists. And outside of that, I would say we do a lot of sampling at these events as well to get the brand and name out. But we haven't run any ads ever to our wholesale world outside of Faire. And I've always been curious if there's a way to do that through Facebook, but we didn't really figure it out. So when Faire built this tool, it was definitely perfect for us.
Love that.
Want to add anything?
No,
Okay.
it's good.
Thank you. Dan?
And for us, outside of Faire, we acquire customers really in two main channels. One, obviously, in wholesale, and two, in direct to consumer. So on the wholesale side, just like Anastasia, we also attend a ton of different in-person trade shows across a variety of industries. And we've got a network of independent sales reps that go and see customers on the road for us all across North America. And then in addition, on the direct-to-consumer side, we focus our acquisition efforts on organic social, paid social, and paid search as well. So we advertise quite a bit on the direct-to-consumer side.
Wow. I love it. And it sounds like Faire is intertwined in all of that. I really love that. I know that both of you are using like Faire Direct and things like that. I always say, it's meet your retailer where they're at the end of the day. And utilizing Faire Direct in that way is a really interesting way to grow your business overall, as well as on Faire. So I feel like we sort of touched on this a little bit, but would you mind expanding on like your prior advertising experience, be it obviously D2C is a little bit more prominent since there isn't really anything out there in the wholesale world. What was your first experiences with paid marketing?
I'll go first on this one. Because Minori is still a relatively young brand, we are self-funded. We're definitely growing this company with the resources that we're making from our sales. And for us to do a super heavy push on DTC paid marketing is something that would have been really hard. We've tried it several times. It works. It works at a place where in the beauty industry, cost of customer acquisition is extremely high. So most brands are not looking to be first order profitable on their paid ads. And then they become profitable on the second purchase, third purchase from a customer. This is something that is extremely expensive and a little bit inefficient for us at this stage, just because we're in such high growth where every dollar that we can put into creating a new product or going to more trade shows and exhibiting there is a little bit better spent. So at the moment, we are not doing any paid ads. This will definitely change as we grow, as our budgets can grow. But the experimentation that we've done so far showed us that we're actually better using that capital in inventory and trade shows and supporting our wholesale business. But our direct-to-consumer business has grown tremendously alongside our wholesale business, specifically because these customers find us in stores and then go on our website after.
Now, I would just add, we started advertising on Faire right after the beta launch. I think it was in March of this year. Couple of things just to benchmark our experience with Faire as opposed to kind of the traditional TikTok, Facebook advertising, and also those experiences of some of our friends who also run consumer businesses. Number one, the traffic is the traffic is high intention, and the fact that Faire is the algorithm is really showing to the right people the relevant ads. It really increases not just the click-through rate, but once someone clicks, these high intention buyers tend to convert, which in our case has resulted in a really attractive and predictable CAC. The other thing with Facebook is from one campaign to the other, the performance increases or drops, and it's really hard to understand why. Even the best marketers don't fully understand. In Faire, it's very predictable. From month to month, we've seen very consistent ROAS, very consistent CAC. And the other thing is the basket size is quite large for retailers as opposed to consumers. And I think you mentioned in your prepared remarks the reorders come in. So basically, in our case, we break even on almost every month very easily. So it's been a very attractive tool for us.
I love that. And thank you for sharing. I feel like we sort of combined two questions a little bit there, which I love and appreciate. But Dan, tell us a little bit about your advertising experience, both on and off of Faire, what led you to try it, yeah, and how you're feeling so far.
Sure, yeah. So we first started advertising right when COVID closures happened back in 2020. We were historically just primarily a B2B business selling to brick and mortar retailers across the country. And when COVID lockdowns hit, all of our stores closed, revenue went to zero, and it was a pretty scary moment for us. And we took a leap of faith at that time. I got my hand rolled up my sleeves, got my hands dirty, and rebuilt our website, and immediately started paying for traffic to our website via Facebook ads. And we saw some real great success initially with that, and really relied on our D2C ads and revenue while our retailers were closed. So that kind of got us hooked on the advertising front, and really from there was excited to learn in, I believe, October of 2023 that Faire had invited us to be a part of the beta program to advertise. And since we had a lot of experience under our belts on the D2C side, we were excited to participate and see if we could profitably acquire customers on Faire's ad platform and really scale our new wholesale customer acquisition. And it's been a great experience for us so far.
Excellent. I love it. Something interesting that you both sort of mentioned is like the customer acquisition, the CAC of it, and like the targeting. And the really intriguing thing about this program is like we built this with what the Faire algorithm is already doing. It's all using all of this data to essentially match you with these retailers that we know are going to be a good fit for your product. And that algorithm is always growing and learning and getting better and better at doing that. And then what this program does is ultimately accelerate that in an additional way. So it's not surprising to me that like you're getting meaningful relationships and returns from this. And like one of the things that I constantly am reminding people is, this is about that long-term value at the end of the day, and the difference between D2C and B2B advertising. I mean, overall, like from your experience so far, like, is there anything as far as like your results specifically that you feel comfortable, like a win that you'd like to share with other people on the call today? Dan, we'll start with you since you've gone last both times. I've been
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I can share is that since starting our advertising on Faire since October 2023, we've grown our new marketplace customer lift by over 50%, which is super exciting. And we've been able to successfully each month scale our ad budgets on the platform profitably.
love it.
Yeah, and for us, I mean, we started in March, and so far, year to date, it's been around 15% of our revenue on Faire came from promoted listing conversions. Again, like I said in previous response, the ROAS and the CAC have been fairly consistent. In our case, the ROAS, is anywhere between 2 and 3, which given our gross margin profile is attractive. And this is just the first year sale, of course. So lifetime value, considering I'm sure the ROAS is going to end up being larger if you consider lifetime value. So good unit economics. And a lot of the retailers that we acquired have been good retailers in the sense that they've reordered already multiple times, which is important. So they're not one-offs. So yeah, overall very positive.
Some of the retailers that have ordered from us were ones that we had reached out to directly through Instagram or through an email, and some of these things get lost, and the actual Faire ad happened to get us through the door. So I think this is just a great example of how many different touch points it takes to get through to an account that you're looking at. So and also the fact that they've been reordering quite consistently, that's also a really great win.
That's super exciting. One thing I wanted to touch on, I skipped this a little bit, is like, how do you think about budgeting for this? Like, is there any advice around that? Like, did you start slow and add more, or like, do you have a particular strategy that you're going over month or quarter over quarter? Like, any advice there for our other attendees?
On our side, we started, I think, at maybe like $400 to $500 the first month, just to kind of get a sense of like, is this working? What is this going to look like? And fairly quickly doubled that. So we went from 500 to 1,000 budget, and I am definitely looking at increasing that. I'm also kind of monitoring the total spend that it's doing. It's not, I think, as a lot of brands, and I'm seeing it in the comments, the budget Faire won't necessarily spend your entire budget. So we might test increasing it even higher just to see, like, could we get, closer to the amount that we would actually want to spend. But I think in terms of just seeing the economics of it, it makes sense to definitely try it. And I thought that we wanted to kind of be there as soon as we can. I think with a lot of these things, like, there's a first mover's advantage. It's like, get on the platform, on the tool as it's being rolled out, and kind of use the opportunity of the fact that it's a new tool that's out there.
Thank you. That's a good answer. Just as an FYI, we're closely monitoring that as more brands have joined, because we want to make sure we're maintaining that productivity at the end of the day. We don't want it just to be new brands and get oversaturated. So that is something that we're constantly keeping an eye on. Dan, how about you as far as budget?
Going back to the previous question on wins, I wanted to add something too. We have quite a large product catalog, and another win that we've experienced in starting to advertise is we've found some new bestsellers within our line that I don't think we would have realized if we weren't advertising on Faire. So it's been cool to see, some of those unexpected items kind of take off since we started advertising. And then in terms of our approach to paid marketing and budgeting, for us, it all really starts with just understanding our margin profile and really taking a data-driven approach to forecasting as well. So we forecast our expected revenue each month and then back into a specific allocation of total forecasted revenue that we can dedicate to paid advertising. And we monitor that really closely. If we're hitting our forecasts, our percentage of total spend to revenue, and adjust from there. To your point previously, Walker, our lifetime values are much higher on the wholesale side, as well as our average order values. So it gives us a little bit more margin to allocate to paid marketing on Faire as opposed to D2C. And as you guys have heard multiple times here, it's all really comes down to driving as much reorder business as you can as well. It's obviously expensive to acquire new customers, so you have to do everything you can to keep them coming back.
Love that. Good answer. And thanks for going back to that win as well. It was good to hear. All right. One last question. I mean, I guess this is a little bit open-ended, no pressure, and this sort of ties back into it, but we've got different levels of brand establishment on this call right now. If you could give one piece of general advice around, these ads or your Faire business overall, to these brands, what would that be? Who wants to? Anastasia, you look like you're ready. Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
would say that for me, the hugest change once we got on Faire was taking the time to optimize our pages over and over again. Sometimes, yes, you can do like this one shot of setting everything up, and then you look at it 2 months later, you look at it 6 months later. There's always things, whether it's checking how your photography is looking versus your competitors, constantly reworking the keywords and the descriptions. Including some things in images that you wouldn't have thought, like if you had press mentions, put it in a photo, add the videos in. Like the difference that we saw in our performance and our growth on Faire after constantly working on the pages has been tremendous. And I think that without doing this work, your promoted listings are also not going to be lifting as quickly as they could. So I would definitely urge, especially newer brands, like do the upfront work and constantly monitor it, constantly make these changes and updates and invest in better photography. Go through your copy and really think about how's the algorithm looking at this copy, not just how a human reads it. And yeah, I would say that would be my biggest number one advice. And then nurturing the relationships through direct messaging these stores, sending out emails, like building a personal relationship, at least, especially with your top accounts, is going to take you a really long way.
I love that. Those are both highly recommended pieces of advice. And I think Meredith touched on them a little bit. A plug for product level performance and optimization for sure. How about you, Dan?
Yeah, ditto to everything Anastasia just said. It's so important before jumping into ads that you focus on conversion rate and really optimizing not only your listings, but your shop, as well. Add videos, add multiple photos per image, focus on the SEO for the keywords. And, once you have all of that, again, really putting together a whole retention strategy around driving your reorder business once you get customers, both on the organic side and the paid side. And then, when it comes to my advice in terms of advertising, I would recommend, start small, but not so small that Faire won't have enough budget to really test against your entire catalog. And give it a few months. Don't jump ship right away if you're not seeing conversions immediately. It takes time for the algorithm to learn what people are converting on. And so, just dedicate a bit of budget to really test the advertising at least for a few months.
Also, incredible advice. All right, I think we are getting close to time. Thank you all again so much for joining us, as well as the team who helped put this together. Um, Quick ask, remember, we will be propping up a survey when you close out. We'd appreciate you taking a minute or two to do it. And I hope everyone has a wonderful November holiday season and Q4. Thanks. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.